Hi, this video is to help you understand a little bit more about how to use the features of the library, including how to find sources that are peer-reviewed. So I'm beginning on the Georgia Highlands College homepage, and from there I'm going to click on the library. Here you have access to Galileo, which is where you will do most of your research. You also have access to our catalog of both hard copy books that are actually in our library locations, as well as ebooks. You also have access to lots of different video images and film pieces. And then you have access to guides. These assignment guides can be very helpful. I haven't written one for this semester, but you have other English 1101 guides that can also maybe give you some pointers about how to search. Also on this library page, you have the chat feature. All you need to do there is to click down here and type in your question, and if a librarian is available, they will answer your question within about a minute. That can be anything from how to find a book to remembering what the Galileo password is. If you are at home, you'll need to enter the Galileo password in order to have access to these databases. But let's say that we don't need that right now and we are on campus, and I want to find an article about, let's say, childhood obesity. So I'm going to start with just a general search, and I'm going to use this Galileo toolbar the same way I would use Google. So here, I'm going to type in childhood obesity and click enter. And it's thinking, searching Galileo. This is an enormous topic and I'm going to get a bazillion hits. I want to narrow it down in two ways. First, I want to be able to see exactly what the article is. So I'm going to click full text. That makes sure that anything that I see in front of me, I'll be able to click on and read the whole piece. Second, I want it to be peer-reviewed. So I'm going to click on peer-reviewed. Now, this has done all the thinking for me, and all I have is a list of articles that I could use in my paper. The next step that I'm going to do, obviously, is to go through and read titles. If I don't understand the titles, this says convenient sampling of childhood presenting to hospital-based outpatient clinics to estimate childhood obesity levels in local surroundings. Well, that's not really going to help me with my paper. I don't really understand what that means. It sounds very scientific. This is an English class. I'm going to leave that one alone. Next, we have the role of urbanization in childhood obesity. That's the title of the article. And if I look at this one, it seems kind of interesting. I might click through and read that. I see here in the entry that it is only 5 pages long. That's what that 5P means. That means it's going to be pretty quick and easy for me to read. So I might read that. Here's one. Preventing childhood obesity, what are we doing right? That sounds excellent. I understand the whole title. It would be helpful for me to use in my article. It has, let's see, from 579 to 583, 1583. That's a good length. So I'm going to click on that one. I have the access to the full text here, and I have everything I need to know about citing it here. In addition, I can also use this citation tool right here. Click on Cite, scroll down to MLA, and I can take that and copy and paste it onto my Works Cited page. When I do that, I'll have to change the text to Times New Roman, and I'll have to make it double spaced, but other than that, the formatting should be correct. So I'm going to close that citation tool. Now, if I don't have time to read this right now, what I'm going to do is email it to myself. I'm never going to try to copy and paste the link. That is not going to work because Galileo is protected by a password. You won't be able to use that link to get back to this same article. Now, let's say I've found one article, but for my paper I need 2 or 3 more. The easiest way for me to do that is once I've found one article that I like, is I click on Find Similar Results. And that uses Galileo to do your searching for you. I want to find other articles that are just like this article. So I'm going to click on Find Similar Results. It's going to use these same search terms. And again, it's got a bazillion articles. I'm going to need to limit it again. Full text, updating, and also scholarly or peer-reviewed journals. So it's limited some. I'm not going to try to limit it down too much more than that because it's easy for me to just kind of scroll through the top, see what I can find. Again, I'm finding a lot here that are very specific to scientific and medical journals, except for this one looks pretty good. Devouring Childhood Obesity by Helping Children Help Themselves. That also sounds awesome. Probably going to use that. Notice that is 16 pages long. I'm not going to try to read the whole article realistically, but I will skim through it to see what might be useful for my paper. So those are some tools that you can use in the library for searching. Let me show you one other database that I find very helpful. The way I'm going to get back to that is to click on Galileo up here in the corner, which takes me back to just Galileo. And I'm going to click on Databases A to Z. Then I'm going to click on O. And that gets me to this one, which is called Opposing Viewpoints in Context, which is one of my favorite databases for this paper, and I use it quite a lot. And the reason I do that is because it gives you lots and lots of different issues. In fact, almost every paper you're going to write for this class, every different topic that students have is going to be found in this database. And what they do is they take 2 different sides of each issue and they look at both sides. And they have a collection of most recent news articles or news stories about it. They have statistics about it, whatever the issue is. They have pros and cons. They have academic journals, all of that in this one database. It's taking a minute to load and I'm going to kind of skip through and go to browse issues. So let's say that my issue continues to be childhood obesity. You see here I clicked on browse issues and gives me this long list of categories. You could probably find whatever it is you're writing about somewhere on this list. And then I'm going to go up here to childhood obesity. I'm going to click on that. Every one of these specific issues begins with an overview. That overview would be really helpful for you to read. Think of it as like a Wikipedia entry. Next, we have featured viewpoints, and the featured ones are the ones that they're highlighting. Other viewpoints are available to you there. And you can read through these titles and see how they kind of go back and forth. The academic journals, that's where the peer review stuff is, so I can use that. Now let's say in my paper I want to use some statistics. I can gather statistics from that. It's telling me that there are 10 different articles. There are 975 different recent news articles about this. There's some audio files that I can listen to. I can use video information in my paper. All of that is fine to use in my paper. Each one of these also has examples for how to cite it. For example, if I wanted to use parents' opinions about whether school lunches are to blame, I can click on that. It gives me, again, the citation tools, the email. I can download it, I can print, I can save it, all of that information. So there are some helpful ways to think about researching for this particular paper. Hope that helps.